Street Fighter 6 released Alex recently, a couple weeks ago, and I was excited to hear that he was a heel and how Capcom would make him a heel. Unfortunately, him being heel is just in the ring. He's not a bad guy in the Street Fighter universe. And, I mean, I guess I wasn't expecting him to be a bad guy, right? But it would have been cool to see the heel antics outside of the ring. A lot of people complained about his story because, spoilers for people that don't know, or why would this be spoilers? You're clicking on this video, right? Big story arc with Alex is that he's becoming a father because he married his second cousin and got her pregnant. Apparently this got people all in an uproar, and I personally don't care because this is a fictional character, right? A lot of people have been complaining about it, and Capcom's going to address it in a future update. I don't think it's been addressed yet. Clyde, as of the time of this recording, his story mode is still the same, as far as I know. I really wish Capcom would have just leaned into it. He's a heel, right? I do not shy away from being a hardcore 90s baby who grew up with that influence. And what better way to be a heel than to be an Attitude Era / WCW 2000 heel? Like, they might as well keep it that he's sleeping with his second cousin because they want him to be heel, right? This is something straight out of Vince Russo's book. And the way that they booked Alex, well, I say booked, obviously, this is wrestling speak, but the way that they've put Alex in this game, he's even had, like, the Hogan heel turn, right? So why not go all the way and lean into the heel antics of it? I mean, he's a fictional character, so who cares that much, right? He ain't doing nothing illegal. It's just, I guess, a little weird for the American audience. Apparently it's a trope in Japan to marry the second cousin or whatever. I don't really care. If I were Capcom, I wouldn't care about what the American audience thinks of this cultural reference or whatever. I don't know. I saw it on Reddit. So, you got to believe everything on Reddit, right? They should have made him heel all the way through. Like, this is peak WCW. Have him marry his second cousin, get her pregnant, and just be like, so what? Do something about it. Like, we've seen crazier. Marrying your second cousin, like, it happens. It's just obviously a little weird, but we grew up seeing Vince McMahon have The Undertaker put his daughter on a cross. Big Boss Man was hanging from a noose in WWF. Mark Henry allegedly got Mae Young pregnant and she conceived a hand. Like, this is the silly stuff like that kind of adds to the character of it. Like, and I really wish they would have actually leaned into it because we don't have heels like that anymore. Like, all the heels in contemporary wrestling is just, oh, he said something edgy, he swore, and then, I'm not trying to make this a wrestling rant, but I really wish they would have channeled those classic heels, like, for Alex's character, because all he is a great guy. Like, that's all he is at the end of the day. I don't recall how they're going to patch it, so someone's going to tell me. But I guess the confusion was that first he's her cousin, then it's like, oh, it's his dad's friend, then it's his mom's relative or something. I don't know. And maybe that's what they need to clarify. But honestly, if I were Capcom, I wouldn't even care. Let him stay the way he is. I think he, in this game that doesn't have a lot of depth story-wise, I don't feel like, aside from the created character, everyone's story is just kind of like, whatever. It would have been nice to have something like this stick. And honestly, I'm not, like, all for screwing your second cousin. So if that's all you got from this, screw you. And your cousin. Screw your second cousin. But I think this game, story-wise, would do well with some controversy. Like, Bison coming back isn't controversial. We expected that. And any kind of, like, story leads that they might have had aren't really, like, panning out into anything, right? Like, apparently Lily had some evil spirit around her or something. And, like, we're not getting Satsui no Lily. And I think they're just too worried about, and this is the thing with devs in general, they're just too worried about what the modern audience thinks. Like, it's okay to have some controversy. This is a fictional game, and you literally can retcon it into the next game, but They shouldn't retcon it in the next patch. Like damn, let it breathe a little bit. I keep going back to Vince Russo, but like even Vince Russo would let some of these wild stories play for longer than a week before they change it. Like, you know, like the the like I'm not asking for a Judy Bagwell and a pole match to be story or anything like that, but I think a little bit of controversy would have been nice because otherwise, like, what character depth has Alex gotten? He beat Gil, and we see the signs of Gil in World Tour and stuff like that. He doesn't mention anything about Gil. I would imagine that's a significant character arc or like development. Only thing that's changed between Street Fighter 3 and now 6 is that he's a heel and he got his cousin pregnant. I think people are upset at the wrong thing. I think they should be more upset that Alex has like no character depth than him having character depth and it being controversial. I'm not expecting us to get any major story developments between now and the end of Street Fighter 6. So as far as the story stands for Alex is that he's contemplating like, what if I didn't choose this life to be a wrestler and settle down with my second cousin? And then he fights Ryu and then he goes home and be a family man. Like he could have lost the guile and figured that out. So I really just think they could have done more with his story to flesh him out because he's still nothing. he still doesn't have any meaningful development. You whooped Gil and that's it. And honestly, I kind of like Gil's ending better because it felt like it gave Alex purpose. So let me know what you guys think. I'm more upset they didn't do anything with this story or him as a character besides him sleeping with his cousin. I don't really care about that. In fact, yeah, heel Alex can do what he wants. Like it. But one thing I will say before I go is that I didn't know Alex and Abigail had like a friendship at all. And but it's because I didn't care about Abigail in 5, but apparently they have a friendship based on them being into cars. So that's kind of neat, right? Nice little character development that's not readily out there, right? I don't think he mentions Abigail at all in Street Fighter 6. So a lot of wasted potential with Alex. But yeah, we're mad at the wrong thing. This is great. This is great content, man. 10 out of 10. NWO for life. It's a swerve, bro. All that other stuff.